Hello and welcome to another episode of the Plus 63 HP Podcast Reviews Edition, where we review a TV series or a movie a week. Deep dive into the events, what we think about the episode, rate them so you have information whether you should watch it by yourself or with your friends and family as well. I am Jong, I'm one of your hosts. Alongside with me is my bestest best friend, CHUBAX. How are you, CHUBAX?
I'm good. Ready to dive into Ted Lasso this week.
Yes, sir. That's our news TV series to review in the next couple of weeks. Ted Lasso season 3. And again, it's a reminder. If this is your first time in our channel, welcome. Thank you very much for the view. We are plus 63 HP. We have a stable of podcasts that drops almost every day of the week. Mondays, Tuesdays are our reviews, reviewing TV shows and movies. Wednesdays, we have our very first D&D campaign where we record our first D&D campaign for posterity, put it on the interwebs, so hopefully you can join us in our adventure. On Thursdays, we have a curated list of trailers, featurettes, video clips, and we react to them and see how hyped we are for that upcoming content. On Fridays, CHUBAX and RJ has or cannot get enough of D&D, so they spun a second campaign where they are bad guys. So those episodes drops most Fridays as well. So hopefully that you'll subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/plus 63HP, or interact with us in all of our socials. Our handles in Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is at plus 63HP. Hopefully you add us, at us, converse with us. We love talking with you guys. We're also in your favorite podcasting app if you don't want to watch us video on demand. So just search for plus 63HP and we shall be there. Housekeeping done. We are discussing we're discussing season 3 of Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso is one of my most favorite things to watch on television on a week-on-week basis. It gives me so much joy. So we hope that you have joined the bandwagon of seeing season 1 and season 2. So before we dive into the first episode of the season 3, so we really wanted to concentrate on one episode for now. We want to really savor every episode, all the themes we thought about on that particular episode with you on a week-on-week basis. So before we jump into season 3, Trabox, you're up to date. What is your overall feeling and overall kind of engagement with Ted Lasso's previous seasons coming into season 3?
Yeah, Ted Lasso is near and dear to our hearts, especially it's just the the amount of feelings we get from it, and the fact that it pretty much took us through the pandemic. It's one of the biggest things
Mm-hmm.
that made us mentally healthy, or not mentally healthy, but like it's something that we were able to that helped us through the pandemic. We just it's positivity, it's fun, it's comedy, it's heartaches, and yeah, I love it. It's one of the most near and dear series in my heart. Like if I would give like a top quick top 5 series of all time for me, like this is just like without thinking. So it's like on the top of my head, I go like uh CSI, 24, Supernatural, Ted Lasso would be up there. I mean, that's just like a quick run through that without thinking, but it's really it really helped, and I hope they continue, and I hope it stays as good as it was. And because there's been rumors that this is the last, but I think like they didn't confirm it. They just said that they'll think about it, and if there's something that pops in their head, then that they can run with, they'll run with it. But for now, this is let's consider it an ending of sorts, and let's see how it goes. But yeah, I just saw season episode one 30 minutes before we started, so it's still pretty
Mm-hmm.
fresh.
Yeah. Yeah, I again like you, Ted Lasso. We got introduced to Ted Lasso during the pandemic. It was perfect timing. I don't think that this would have had the traction that it would have gotten if it weren't the pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like it was just so rough outside that you wanted something warm and fuzzy on the inside, like
And
which
boy, did it deliver.
you know. Yeah, and it's simple. The good thing about this is like it's bordering the themes that they are trying to discuss or have us think about and have us feel is bordering being spoon fed to us. But we need that. We need that package in a way where it is dramatic, cinematic, well acted, well paced. And every episode has it's jam packed with, an overall theme, minor themes underneath it, and then you have like different engagement with different people. And then it's weird because it's about a football club with a lot of players, and it could get overwhelming the amount of players that we need to know about and their backstories. But like in season 3, it's still like well paced. Like there's still more players in the background,
But
but
there's just
we have full
enough
fledged.
tidbits, to make them unique. There's the wine guy. There's
Rashad,
Dan,
the French
the
guy,
Dutch, very
Lumbercatch.
what's the name of the Dutch guy? Van Maas. That's just
Yes.
straightforward. I mean, I played well,
No,
but
like
you guys did.
yeah. So I and it's like you're right. Like they're not props in the background, so they're developing their character bit by bit. So that's exciting for me. So uh I just love the series for the fact that it makes you think and it makes you think to be a good person. That's it. I mean, in the end, there's almost a formula in which we see them overcome a problem externally, and then they see that version of the problem be overcome internally. We have main characters that are assholes that become endearing. We have main characters that are endearing that became assholes that will become endearing again. Everything goes back to being good and being positive, which I really, really like. So this is one of those things where I always have this in the background. And now that we're on the third season and we're almost at the end of the third seasons where we have like 3 more episodes left.
Is
I
it
now
12?
have or we now have 12 episodes in the third
I
season.
thought it was
Yeah.
10. Okay.
We're now 12 episodes. Um and the good thing about it is like I sometimes now go to TikTok or YouTube and just get like the best of Ted Lasso. Best speeches, best allegories and stuff like that. And you now have a long list of a library. So I really, really enjoy that. All right, we're just gonna dive into a quick synopsis of episode 1, and then we'll give our thoughts and ratings about it as well. So episode 1, season 3, release date of March 15, 2023, titled Smells Like Teen Spirit. We came off the last, for quick recap of season 2. At the end of season 2, the issues that were surrounding the club was Ted's panic attack, um Nate, their wonder kid, kit man turned assistant coach turned genius tactician, slowly breaking off his seams. Anger with Ted of not getting enough attention as he
I
wanted.
I love how they try so hard. Well, they don't try so hard, but they really make an effort to make Nate look like this cartoonish villain, but at the same way, it's just so realistic. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
and it wouldn't have worked if they did it earlier. Like I like that they made
they made
Nate
time.
into, because the idea of it, that's what mental health is. You might be showered with positivity and goodness, but if you don't fix your issues within yourselves, everything that you see is just negative. Because like when I remember when I rewatched season 2, and then Nate started like breaking down, I was like, dude, there's no fucking reason for you to get mad at anybody. It's all your own insecurities, but that's the
Yes.
point. That is the
Yes.
point, right? Ted, if when you
That's why it's
actually read from
sad.
the synopsis, right? Nate was trying to abandon his tactic, the false nine tactic, but because of Ted's belief and the team's belief in Nate, they stuck with it. And then instead of being thankful that you have everybody's trust. Nate kind of comes out saying like, "Oh, you're trying to make me as a scapegoat.
Mm-hmm.
If the tactic works and we win, you win. But if the tactic fails and we lose, it's my fault." So it's like that wasn't the point, Nate. But that's again the idea of it. So
And then
Nate felt that he
that's why
was
it's so
continuously.
funny too, because you can think of all the people to think about that Whitehead. He's never
And why Nate?
taken the spotlights from anybody. He's always mentioned
Mhm.
Nate and stuff, but that's like you said, that's the point of mental health. That's why he's fucked up.
Yeah, you'd never know. People like Nate did not handle success the way that one would should. But the idea of it's like Nate thinks that Ted has continuously neglected him as a coaching staff, adding Roy as in the coaching staff, etc., etc. But in the end, Richmond gets promoted. Nate walks off, um, and one of the nicer parts of the last episode of season 2 was um, Ted revealed. So Trent Krim of the Independent, the reporter, needed to report about Ted's walking off during the game, and then a source from the club mentioned that he walked off because Ted had panic attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And Trent Krim, now warmed up and understand how good Ted Lasso is, risked his career by
Well,
revealing
not
his
not
source.
actually risk, ended it.
Yeah, ended his
Basically ended
career
it.
because by revealing his source, knowing that because the source of the panic attack information was much more important for the, the overall grade of the club than Ted
Yeah,
himself
and
as a
he didn't
person.
want he wanted to help Ted, knowing that like there's a snake
He
in your
wanted
club.
to help
Yeah.
Ted, and then he want again. That's though it's like he did his job by reporting it because he had to report it, but also the idea that he did not find a lot of joy reporting about
Uh-huh.
somebody's um panic attacks or mental health and having that source be Nate himself. And then we do episode ends, we do a little jump cut. Um and then we see Rupert now, like Rupert, Rebecca's ex, the owner of Richmond, has bought a new club, West Ham,
I thought
and
West
then their
Ham
new
was
coach.
was invented like Richmond. I didn't know it was real.
Apparently,
It was
everything else
real.
except Richmond is real.
Yeah.
So Rupert bought a new club, West Ham, and his new coach is the Wonder Kid name. And that's episode the last episode of season 2. We start off with season 3. Projections of that particular season shows that Richmond is going to be in the last place in the Premier League,
And
right?
relegated again.
And then and then most likely to be relegated again, demoted to a league below. West Ham, however, has been forecasted in the top 5. They're number 4. So that demoralizes not only the team, but most especially
Rebecca.
Rebecca. Yeah. There's a little cool spot in the episode where, in order to give the team a little bit of a boost or perspective of where they are, Ted gives the team a tour of the London sewer system, trying to teach them about that. Yeah, the lesson was like relying on each other
I love that
amidst the
that line.
but also, it's just poop
Pope.
flows.
If you need more confidence, get
It's
some
just
from Jamie.
poop.
Jamie.
Jamie Tart's poop.
I love it.
But of course, like a football team coming into a sewer system goes viral. Nate has turned into this like quippy, snappy, insulting person against Ted and his former team, which is kind of like the press likes, but like you can see him crack a little bit. Like he enjoys the power, but he also does not enjoy hurting
I
somebody
think
else.
some
So
of
that was
the
good.
analysis also on YouTube is like the one of the symbolism of him spitting is he doesn't like who he is, but he still
Eh,
chooses to be it because it's what's getting him the new stuff, the better
I so
stuff.
this is a little bit of a future spoiler, but not really. But in a future episode when Ted gets to describe their future matchup with West
West Ham.
Ham Wrexham, um, uh, Ted kind of like described Nate. It's like, no, that's what Nate is. Like he's a brilliant coach because he's a brilliant tactician. He'll find somebody's weakness and then step on it, take
Yeah,
advantage of it. So
but that
which is
wasn't
like this
this
is kind of
episode.
like this. It wasn't in this episode, but
It
like that
was.
was
It
the
was.
seed here. Like,
It's in this episode. It's in
oh,
the
was
end.
it? Oh,
Yeah, it's a press
sorry.
conference.
During the speech. Oh,
Yeah.
so but that's the idea. Like we kind of like, the first two seasons, like we kind of have trouble believing that Kitman becomes an assistant coach now. Like you're a real coach of a Premier League team, right? So this way, that they really want to make sure that to you really want to press the fact that he's a wonder kid. He's an amazing tactician, and that amazing tactician is permeates his entire life. So that was good. Um, the way that and I love the part where Rebecca, because of all of these issues that they've been having, is begging Ted. So one, Rebecca, the powerful woman, owner of the team, begging Ted to fight back, begging Ted to not have Rupert have laughs over Rebecca itself, not West Ham over Richmond, but Rupert over Rebecca. And then I love how Ted always goes back to like, he's making fun of you. You meant they, right? Like he's making fun of me. You meant they, right? It's not a personal attack, it's team by team. So I love how Ted understands that too. That understands that he needs to do something, but he also wants to make sure that this is not a personal thing. So Ted responds to the criticism and the jokes about his team or the jokes about Nate about the team in his own way, in his uh in his traditional, very authentic Ted way. He fought back by not fighting back. He fought back by being self-deprecating, charming the reporters and the idea like, oh, yeah, those are good jokes, providing the said description that like, yes, Nate is a brilliant tactician. Like if he finds a weakness, he will take advantage of it, and jokes are part of it, and it is true. So it was like it was great. So that was kind of at first I didn't know if Rebecca would appreciate that or
Mm,
get even more mad, but I like that Keely, being the PR whiz that she is right now,
yeah.
kind of like, hey, way to go, letting Ted be
Ted Big Ted.
himself, make a um better explanation. I didn't like the end of the episode though, because like the end of the episode is where Roy and Keely informed Phoebe, Roy's niece, that they're breaking up because Roy's busy with coaching and Keely's busy running her new firm and it's growing now. So I like that Phoebe was actually the
Mature one.
mature one in that. Like, all right, that's fine. We're still gonna be friends. We're still gonna get ice cream, right? It's like, right, like, okay, that's great. So, and then the end of the episode was, we start seeing a conversation with Ted and his son, and then now he kind of is, no feels that like his ex is now dating again
Mm-hmm.
because Ted's son was given a gift by his mom's quote unquote friend.
Boyfriend.
Uh, so yeah, that was episode 1 of season 3. Pass it on to CHUBAX favorite bits, and of course your rating about this episode.
Yeah, I loved Ted being Ted. Roy. Everybody was back to form. Just not sure how much I like Roy Keely breaking up and like Keely having her own firm. It makes sense, I guess. Just a little weird where Keely's like one of the more emotionally mature characters always, but why is her like she's out of touch with her company, like the people there? from the first episode? Like they didn't get her, or
But
she?
I understand she's never worked in a corporate setting before. She's never
That
had
is true.
employees
And I
before.
mean, yeah, even though she's emotionally mature, she did date Jamie Tart when he was an asshole. So there's that. I don't know where they're going with this. Like I don't even know why they really broke up. So it's interesting to see. I did love the small snippet of what's the psychiatrist's name from season 2? The
I
doctor.
forget
Yeah,
Doctor
but
something.
yeah, well,
I
her
forget.
intro, her cameo was a great scene with Ted catching us up on what's happening, and her also with that guy on a, about to sleep with some guy. That was a nice. Is it only a cameo? Is she still featured in the episodes or spoiler?
I've only seen her in a Zoom call in the next few
So it's
episodes,
just
but she's still there.
like this episode, like a few scenes here
Yeah.
and there. Um, yeah, I mean, I've seen. I couldn't help but spoil myself in some scenes in the future eps, but I'm excited to see where this ride is going and how they want to tell the story. I hope. I mean, we've had enough of those movies where the ending of a sports team was always the moral victory. I want
Mhm.
a real victory, so let's see how this goes. I mean, we already had the moral victory in the last. Well, no, I guess we had the
Being
moral
promoted, yeah.
I guess we had the moral victory in the first season, but they got promoted last season. So, yeah. What else? I love the sewer scene, the press conference. I love the small joke with the new independent reporter. Like, I mean, those small bits are just make you feel nice, and yeah, can't wait for episode 2.
And your rating?
Oh, first start, I'll go with an 8. Still a little uh
Mhm.
depressed with Roy and Keeley, so let's see where that goes.
Yeah, I'm an 8 too in this particular episode. Yeah, again I'm up to date, so I kind of know what's going to be happening. But the idea of it's like I remember the first episode in the reviews of the first few episodes, the idea that you know they had this big press tour about Ted Lasso, hints that it's going to be the last one. So they're like really pushing this season. And then I kind of felt I loved the first episode. It was stellar. It's only Pupe. It's great. I love how Rebecca was breaking down about so very insecure, because like usually like these days you don't see the strong powerful female insecure anymore. They have other problems but not insecurity. But this one, I love the fact that they brought it back into Rupert versus Rebecca, and Rebecca still becoming very affected by it.
And yeah, because
um
the team is also like uh it's like for the first time it's team versus team, so it's like it's really getting into her head because
yeah,
Rupert bought
and the
West Ham.
idea of it's like I love the idea that no matter how strong you are, there's still things that will that will affect you like no other, which is kind of like a small theme about this is like there are things that make you affect you that will affect you. There are things that are not, like Ted, super unfazed about all of this, like super unfazed about the jokes, super unfazed about, and being giving Nate his flowers with all the funny jokes too, right? Very honest on where they are in the standings, like he accepts all of that. But his son getting a gift from his mom's new boyfriend broke him.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was, I love that idea. Like you're so, when it's this game, take grooming these young men to become even better men, not a problem. But your son having a new dad or your wife actually moving on from you is like he is still so broken up about it. And I love that dichotomy that
Yeah, the
it
contact,
shows that.
her wife's contact is still Lasso.
Yeah,
It's still Michelle
exactly, right.
Lasso.
So
So
the idea of all of this is, yeah, we look at Roy Keeley killing it right? They're both killing it, but their relationship suffered, right? So there's all of these things where there's part of it is like doing great. Nate is now a coach of a Premier League team that is slated to finish top four, but it breaks his heart to do this, to be able to do these super cool jokes on the expense of his former mentor. So I love the idea of the layers where it's not just one or the other, right? It's not just you're happy all the time and everything is great, or you're sad all the time and everything sucks. You can be good, you can be killing it at one side, but there's also part of you that's
Correct.
dying. And I love all of those. And this is where, even if this wasn't the strongest episode, because Ted Lasso has had a lot of I really saw like, oh, they're setting up a lot of stuff in this one episode. Maybe a little too many things in one episode, but that's totally fine. So I give it an 8, and I'm really excited to kind of like go through these episodes and relive all of these individual issues and individual nuggets week on week with you guys. So, all
Let's
right,
go.
final thoughts.
Yeah, just can't wait for more.
All right.
That's all.
Same here again, and we'll see you next week. We'll be discussing another movie, Evil Dead Rise. We're gonna discuss them Deadites, and my future ex-girlfriend Alyssa Sutherland. And we're gonna continue discussing the next episode of Ted Lasso. So we're doing season 3, episode 2 next week. So hopefully you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and join us in our discussions next week. Till then, see you in the next videos. Bye.